Okay, 10.2, finding arc measures, part 1. Couple vocab words. Central angle is going to be formed by 2 radii and a vertex at the center of the circle. Okay, so let me say that all together. So it's an angle. 2 radii of the circle are the sides of the angle, and then the vertex is at the center of the circle. So that would be a central angle. A minor arc is going to be less than 180 degrees. A major arc is going to be greater than 180 degrees, and a semicircle is going to be an arc with endpoints of a diameter, and it will have a measure equal to 180 degrees. Okay. All right, let's look at a quick diagram just to see all of those things. So here's the center of my circle. Have this be C, A, B. This is going to be 50-degree angle. And this arc then on the outside of the circle from A to B, this is going to be a minor arc, right? Less than 180 degrees. And the measure, so we use M, we put AB, the measure of arc AB, so you put the letters with an arc symbol over it, going to be equal to 50 degrees. Okay, so the arc measure is going to be the same as the central angle that it cuts. Okay, now what about the rest of the circle? So if we look at this part, and you're going to have another point on here. So I'm going to put a point D. This is going to be a major arc, and we're going to call it ADB. Notice that instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to go from A to B again, if you're going this major arc, you have to include a third letter in the middle so that tells us which way to go. AB would be the minor arc, ADB would be the major arc. Okay, this measure of arc ADB then is going to be equal to the whole circle minus the 50 degrees of that minor arc. So it'll be 310 degrees for that major arc. Okay, all right, let's just look at an example. Just kind of name the parts. So we got a circle P. We have this is going to be R, T, S, and 110 degrees. All right, so what can we say? We can say the measure of arc RS, because that creates these 2 radii, create that arc right here. And that's going to be equal to 110 degrees because it'll be the same as its central angle. The measure of arc RST. ST. Well, that end points are on a diameter, so that's going to be 180 degrees. The measure of arc RTS, so it goes from here all the way around to S. That's going to be the whole circle then, 360 minus this part we already knew right here was 110. So 360 minus 110, 250 degrees. And the measure of arc TS, well, this is a diameter, so this whole side had to be 180. If this is 110, then that has to be 70 degrees. All right. Okay, another vocab word, adjacent arcs. They're going to intersect at one point. So they're just right next to each other, and then they have one point in common. The arc addition postulate. So just like the segment addition postulate, just like the angle addition postulate, says the sum of two adjacent arcs equals the larger arc they form. Okay, so, you know, obviously that makes sense. If you have two arcs right next to each other, you can add them together and they create the bigger one. So if we have A, B, C, we can say that the measure of arc AB, so from here to here, plus the measure of arc BC from here to here is going to equal the measure of AB, arc ABC. So just added them together, but they have that common point B, right? Okay, let's look at another example. We have central point R, and then we have G up here. This is H. This is E. And we have an F over here. Okay, so this is 40 degrees. This is 80 degrees. This is, oh, that doesn't look like 110 degrees, does it? Let me go over just a little bit more. This is supposed to be 110 degrees, so I'll make it look a little more realistic. Let's go with that. Okay, so there's your F. And, okay, so measure of GE. Let's find that first, arc GE. So G to E. So GH is 40, HE is 80, which means we're going to do 40 plus 80, or 120 degrees. All right, how about the measure of arc GEF? So we have 40 plus 80 GEF. So we're doing all of these plus 110. So we get 230 for that one. And then what about the measure of arc GF? Where would that be? Well, that's going to be right here, right? It didn't have three letters, so it's got to be a minor arc. And we don't know anything about this angle right here, but we know the rest of them. So we can do 360 minus the rest of them, which we just figured out was 230. So that's going to be 130 degrees. Okay, just real quick. Major arc must have 3 letters. Please don't forget that. I think I'm going to go to the next page so I have more room. Okay. All right. So we're going to have B, C, D, E, F, A. All right, so we got our central point, and I'm going to create my angles. Okay, one thing you want to be really careful of is not assuming that something is a diameter. So unless they tell you for sure that it is, or you can tell that it's 180 degrees, you can't really assume it. All right, so we're going to find the indicated arcs. Now, notice what we are given in this one, and you're probably going to see one like this. They're going to say this is 28%. Now, I didn't give you all the like background. I think it was like nationalities that attend somewhere, but this is the information they gave you. 24%, so 28%, 26%, 24%, 12%. This one right here is 3%, and then this one is 7%. Now, let's talk about real quick, just so everybody understands. The degree measure of a circle is 360 degrees, right? Okay, so degree measure of a circle is 360 degrees. But the percent, right, of a whole circle would be what? The percent is going to be 100%, right? So those percentages in there, they add up to 100%. So you got to be really careful depending on what information they give you. If they give you degree measure, then it's out of 360. If they give you percent, then it's out of 100. So if we were going to find the measure of arc CD, well, what did they tell us about arc CD? 26% is its central angle. So we have to do 26% of 360 degrees. We need to know what 26% of the 360 is. That's then going to tell us the degree measure of the central angle. So we would do 0.26 times 360, which is 93.6 degrees. Okay, so just watch out for these questions because they like to throw them in there. Measure of arc AED. So AED. So all 3 of these right here. Okay, we have a 3%, right? 3%, a 12%, and a 24%. Okay, so that is 24 plus 12 plus 3. That's going to be 39% of the 360 degrees. So we do 0.39 times 360. and that's gonna be 140.4 degrees. Okay, and lastly, let's do measure of BEC. Why don't you guys try that one? Okay. One way you could do it is just go to BEC. So all of those, you could add them all up. Or you can see that BC is its own separate arc. And you could say, well, BEC, so this whole side is going to be 360. Or sorry, I know I was going to do that. We know that the smaller arc is 28%, so we're going to take that away from the 100%. So the whole thing is 100%. This part of it's only 28%. So if we take that away, we'll get the rest of it, right? Instead of adding those all up. So we get 72% of 360. So 0.72 times 360 gives me 259.2 degrees. Okay, so be careful. Of course, I had to make that mistake, right? But when you're dealing with percentage, it's out of 100. When you're dealing with the degree measure, it's out of 360.